Today I want to talk a little bit about modern leaders and how our ideals for these leaders have changed quite dramatically from ancient times. Plato's concept of the Philosopher King, introduced in the Republic, represents his vision of an ideal leader, someone who governs not for personal gain, but out of a deep understanding of justice, truth, and the common good. In Plato's view, only philosophers who have a profound knowledge of the forms, especially the form of the good, possess the wisdom necessary to rule wisely and justly. This idea challenges us to consider whether modern leaders embody this idea, and if it remains a relevant model for leadership in the contemporary world. The Philosopher King's defining feature is their pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, above all else. Unlike typical rulers, who may be driven by power, wealth, or ambition, the Philosopher King is motivated by the desire to serve the greater good. Plato believed that only someone who understood the complexities of life and possessed intellectual and moral virtue could navigate the challenges of leadership without being corrupted by self-interest. This contrasts sharply with many modern-day leaders, who often rise to power through political maneuvering, public appeal, or economic success, rather than through the philosophical wisdom or a demonstrated commitment to ethical governance. In today's world, we often look to leaders for pragmatism, charisma, and managerial competence, rather than philosophical depth. While some leaders may display intellectual insight or moral clarity, the idea of the Philosopher King feels antiquated, distant. Modern leadership often revolves around navigating complex political systems, managing economies, and responding to immediate crises, where swift action is often valued more than deep reflection. Moreover, the democratization of power makes the notion of a single, all-knowing leader both impractical and at odds with the values of a collective governance. That said, the core elements of the Philosopher King, wisdom, justice, and the pursuit of the common good, remain highly relevant. While no single leader may embody these traits fully, they serve as aspirational qualities for those in power. The Philosopher King model encourages us to demand more from our leaders, not just in terms of competence, but also in their moral and intellectual rigor. We may not need leaders to be philosophers in the literal sense, but we do need leaders who prioritize ethical reasoning, selflessness, and long-term vision for the well-being of society. Given the complexities of modern governance, perhaps we should aspire to a new ideal of leadership, one that combines the wisdom and ethical focus of the Philosopher King with the practical skills and collaborative spirit necessary for contemporary global challenges. Instead of relying on one individual to possess all these qualities, we might look toward leadership teams or systems that emphasize shared wisdom, diverse perspectives, and collective decision-making. Ultimately, Plato's idea of the Philosopher King remains a powerful metaphor for the qualities we hope for or aspire for in leaders: wisdom, virtue, and a commitment to justice. And while modern leaders may not fully embody this ideal, the Philosopher King's principles still offer valuable guidance. In a world that demands both moral clarity and pragmatic action, perhaps the time has come to adopt Plato's vision into a new model of leadership that better fits the complexities of our time. Thank you for listening.